This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, let's talk a little football instead of football. Michelle Kaufman does an excellent job of covering InterMiami, and who knows, folks, they might earn themselves a playoff spot. We'll see. Tomorrow night, big game against Orlando City. Let's bring her aboard. Before I get into that, are you with me on this one? If it's really football that he came back for, and really Brady has nothing to prove. 7 or 8 titles means nothing. If this is, because apparently, the Post is reporting they both hired divorce lawyers. If that's the case, I'm pretty disappointed in the guy that he chose one more year of football over his family. I think that's horse shit. That's just me. But your thoughts on that?
I never liked. I just feel like we don't really know.
Right.
I'm actually writing a column right now that's a little on this topic about athletes being human, based on the press conference yesterday with Gonzalo Higuain, which was very emotional. And I will urge everyone to read my column, which will be posted this afternoon. But I think we don't really know what's going on behind the closed doors of anybody in their marriages. Right. Okay. So you're saying if it's football. Okay. Let's just say he wanted to play football one more year. And, he thought he didn't, but then he decided he did. And she says, forget it. You love football more than us. I don't know. I'm torn on that topic, because I also feel that if you really, truly love your spouse and they have a passion for their profession, that you support them, which she has done for all these years, but you don't stop supporting. You don't stop supporting and say, okay, I supported your passion for your profession for this number of years. Now I want you to turn off that switch and, switch on over to me. There obviously must be other issues there, because there are people who are very passionate about their professions and work like dogs, and they're still very much in love and whatever. Yes, me too. My husband is supportive, and I'm supportive of him. And to be honest with you, being an NFL quarterback is not, in my opinion, as demanding family-wise as, for example, a baseball player that's gone 82 games a year, a basketball player that's gone 45 games a year, whatever. In football, there are 16 games, 8 of them are at home. So we're talking about 8 road trips. Okay. We're talking about 8 road trips in the playoffs.
8 or 9 now. Remember, 8 or 9 now. There's 17. 8 or 9.
Normal working people who go on business trips way more than 17 days in a 365-day year. So I don't have that much sympathy. I really feel that football players, to be honest, have a lot of time to spend with their families and at home. Their season is not that demanding time-wise. I mean, I'm not talking passion-wise, physical, but I'm saying in terms of how many days on your calendar you X off to say, I am out of town. An NFL football player is one of the lowest of all pro sports, to be honest with you. A basketball player, a hockey player, a baseball player, my God, how much time they spend away. And then the people who cover those sports, you could say the same thing for all of the announcers, the sports writers who cover baseball, who miss 82 games a year and miss all of their kids' graduations and birthday parties and all that. So, an NFL player that's missing 16 days a year with his family, I don't think that's that big of a sacrifice. I think if he truly loves football and wants to continue playing football this year and is going to be missing another 18 days of the year, I'm not seeing it. I'm not. I don't know. I kind of disagree with you a little bit on that. But anyway.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. I just kind of get the feeling that if that's what it was, like you probably made a decision. No, I'm going to Tampa. We'll sign 2 years and then we're done, this, that. And then that was the plan. And then all of a sudden you change. I'm just, like someone said here, what is it? Somebody put it there. That, he's gotten to live his dreams. When do the kids and everybody else get to live theirs? Because you are missing time with them too at the same time. So that's
my point is that it's not that much time. My point is that it's not that much time. Any
I don't know.
business person,
Quarterbacks are in the building all day, all
a
week long. They're in the
salesman. How
building
about a
all day.
salesman? How about an 18-wheeler truck driver? I mean, how about a pilot, a flight attendant? I mean, there are people in all kinds of professions who miss family time. You know,
yeah, but that's different because those people are earning money every week just to survive. Tom Brady doesn't need the money, and Tom Brady has accomplished everything he could possibly accomplish.
Right, but if he still loves doing it, if you're a lawyer and you're 65 years old and you still are passionate about law and still want to do it, I don't see any problem with keep on doing it. You know, maybe he just thought about the idea of retirement and what his days and weeks and months were going to look like and said, you know what, I want to keep playing football because I love it. I just watched a retirement press conference yesterday. Gonzalo was literally sobbing like a baby, as was I, by the way, in the front row. It was really poignant. It was really emotional. This is a guy who is all of a sudden has found his peak. All of a sudden, after all the struggles, he has scored 12 goals in the last 14 games. That is a pace you do not see in soccer, 12 goals in 14 games. He is at his peak, and he announced his retirement yesterday, and it was extremely painful for him to have to do it. I mean, you are giving up the one thing that you've been doing since you were literally a child. Not even us, most of the rest of us start our careers at 22. You know, a soccer player starts his career at 15, 16. This is what he's been doing for the last 20-something years of his life. It's all he knows. It's what he loves. It's his passion. And he's quitting, you know. And so I can see where Tom Brady, it doesn't matter how much money. Gonzalo Higuain made $6 million each of the last 3 years. It's not about money with athletes or with other people who truly love what they do. It's not about the money. It's about your soul. It's about what's going to feed your soul every day when you wake up. What is your, you know, what are you going to do all day? What drives you? What motivates you? You know, I would never pretend to step into Tom Brady's head. I just don't know what he's feeling.
No, I'm with you there. All right. Obviously, this game becomes the biggest game of the franchise's career tomorrow night, right? Because
absolutely.
You made the play-in game stuff before, but this is an opportunity to be one of the best 7 in the conference. Hell, they might even be able to jump a little higher. 7-2.
Yeah, they could get up to 6. They could get up. They could move up to 6. If they win tomorrow and Columbus loses. If they win tomorrow and Columbus loses to Charlotte, which, by the way, just beat Philadelphia 4-0, which blew my mind. If Columbus loses and Miami wins tomorrow night, Miami is in the playoffs, which I think is a remarkable achievement for a team that turned over 19 players. 19 players on a roster of 25. 19 players were new this year. The vast majority of them, the only one most of us had ever heard of was DeAndre Yedlin. I'll be honest with you. The rest of these guys were not household names. They were guys that Chris Henderson, you know, and his staff and Phil Neville plucked from all the far corner reaches of the world, you know, from Finland, from Ecuador, from here, from there, and everywhere. Yedlin is the only one that, you know, that came with any kind of resume that we had heard of. And for a team like that, to 19 new players, if they make the playoffs, you know, I've written the column already at the end of August that I think Phil Neville and Chris Henderson and their staff all deserve to get contract extensions. All of their contracts end at the end of this season. They signed 2-year deals. They're done. I really feel like, you know, they have earned a chance to get a new contract, especially if they make the playoffs. They've done much better than anybody expected. At the beginning of the year, if you go back and look at the projections, most of the experts had them in 13th, 14th place. You know, most of them were not even above 13th. They were in like dead to last or second to last.
And by the way, that's a good prediction. That's a normal
because no one expected anything.
Exactly, because it was a mess, and you just said it. It's not like you added a whole bunch of household names. But the beauty is, and Chris Henderson, I know he's not going to get Executive of the Year, but he deserves to get some of that praise because to turn over the roster the way he has and to have the eye that he has had in order to bring all these players in, it just shows you that even next year when they have one more year of those salary limitations, the following season they're going to be free of all of this. this guy is going to be one hell of a general manager for this team. And it's kind of what you thought in the first place. Sadly, they hired the wrong guy the first go around.
Right.
But Chris Henderson, I think, has proven under the worst conditions. Okay, he didn't come in with a full deck. No. He came in with a pain in the ass deck and had to kind of start and straighten this thing out. I think he's done one of the great jobs.
Oh, I do too. And I wrote in my column that I wouldn't even make his new contract contingent on the playoffs, because I wrote this on the last week of August. This guy has done an amazing job. And by the way, some fans have pointed out, some Seattle fans have pointed out on Twitter that Seattle, since he left, Seattle has fallen. They did not qualify. They were eliminated for the playoffs. That is a franchise that had been a perennial, not only champion, but always in the playoffs. Well, that's a marquee team in the league. Some of the Seattle fans have pointed out that since Chris Henderson left Seattle, the franchise has not been exactly the same. He's really, he is, most people don't ever get to meet him or whatever. The guy is just the nicest, kindest. There isn't anyone who could ever, I've never heard one bad word said about the man. The culture in the front office there has completely, when I say completely, I've talked to people in every position in that front office from everything.
Trust me, I know the shit show it was.
Yes, it was horrible. It was horrible.
The shit show it was. Okay,
it was a mess. People were walking on eggshells. Everybody was grumpy.
And a lot of good employees walked out of that building.
A lot of really good employees walked out. A lot of really good people walked out. And Chris Henderson has turned things around. Everyone that I talked to says this is a completely different organization with him in charge. So I would have signed him to a new contract already, 3 weeks ago. And Phil Neville, look, he benched Gonzalo, and it took that. Gonzalo has said, that and adding Pozuelo, those two things motivated him, and he is a completely different player and a completely different person than he was in July. From July to now, in all my years, I've been covering sports 35 years, honestly, I have rarely seen a turnaround of a player like this, not only on the field going from a major funk to a major high, but also his demeanor on the field, his demeanor with his teammates, his demeanor with the media. This is a guy who never really chatted with us or was always a little bit short answers, whatever, the press conference. He's now like, hola, Michelle, ¿cómo estás? He's giving me fist pumps. He's like, yes, of course he's in a great mood because he scored 12 goals in the last 14 games. But it's chicken and egg, right? Which is first.
Well, let's be honest. He got here first with the attitude that I'm above all of you. Mm-hmm. I'm above this league. I can go have beers and smoke cigarettes and score goals on you fools. And then he realized, oh shit, I'm not in shape. These guys are faster. They're younger. This is a physical league. Yeah, and all that. And he got humbled.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, and then so he was also a dick along the way. And so now after getting humbled, he now has, and by the way, the blessing was all these changes, because all you would have done if you would have kept the people around is if you would have fed that, and it would have kept going right to the end of the contract.
Yeah, he had a little click. There was a little click of Argentine players.
Argentine click. Yeah, it became a joke, really, the Argentine click, because it just wasn't a good click, unfortunately. And so that mess was broken up, and the best thing that Neville did was humble him even more by saying, you to the bench. I don't care what you did on the international level. You're not doing anything for me here. And then eventually he got back onto the mix after watching Campana go off and all that stuff. And then the addition of Pozuelo, I think, has really opened things up for him a lot. Absolutely. But he's been humbled. And now that he's been humbled, now I think he appreciates you and everybody else and fans and the situation that he's in, and probably the coaching staff too, because it's brought the best out of him.
He said it yesterday. He said yesterday that this club, he never thought he'd be saying this when he came to MLS. He said, when I came to MLS, I never thought that I would be saying that I am enjoying the sport more than I ever did, and that this club, renewed my joy in the sport. and definitely humbled him. And, even when Pozuelo came, I will tell you, at the very beginning, the first few days after they signed him, he was not happy because all of a sudden they were signing another DP. And he was the big man on campus. He was the DP. And the first few days, he was not happy that they signed another DP. However, he immediately began to realize, you know what? This guy is going to help me because I can now stay up front where I need to be. And he's going to be passing me perfect assists on a silver platter. This is going to help me to have another teammate like him. And he picked up on that very quickly. And now they are best buddies. They are like inseparable, those two. It was not that way the first few days, I will tell you. But I have really seen a transformation of Gonzalo Higuain this year. And it's been really fun to watch. It's been really fun to cover. And tomorrow, he said yesterday that the greatest gift would be to win an MLS Cup with this group and to go out of his career with a trophy, which I know that is a far reach and a big goal. But anyway, he said it, and making the playoffs would be a start, and they could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? He's just another one of those players that, the reputation was the MLS was a retirement league. Yeah. And yet it was a retirement league for many years. But over the last 10 years, this league has completely changed. Yeah. They've gotten smart. They're trying to find young people so they can develop and then sell those young people and bring more money into the league so they can buy more players. And so they're learning the business of soccer now. And
they call themselves now a selling league, that they are a selling league too. They used to just be a buying league and now they're a selling league, Exactly. And Gonzalo himself said that when he first got here, he didn't realize how fast and physical and young the players are here, fast and physical, that he said they're not as organized tactically as what he was used to in Europe. And so he thought that it would be easy to play here because they're not as tactical. But the truth is it was almost harder because they're not tactical. You have to be fast and physical. And he was none of the above. So he had to really change. And he is now, if you look at him, he is so much fitter. This is the fittest that he's been since he got here 2.5 years ago. And he's running now. You see him make sprints. And I'm not saying he's not Ari Lassiter. He's not Yedlin. But the guy is moving. He's moving his wheels. He's moving. Yeah.
Well, the goals will motivate you too at the same time. All right, Michelle, we'll wrap it up with this. Give us the prediction. What are we looking for tomorrow? What does Miami have to do to win? Because it is really, really you win tomorrow and you're locked into the playoffs.
If they win tomorrow, it would be great. The one thing I do have to mention that I didn't know until yesterday is that Pozuelo is a major maybe for tomorrow. Ooh, that would be a big loss for all the reasons we are just talking about, especially with Gonzalo. Gonzalo does not play the same without his little partner in crime. Pozuelo has a groin injury, and he is, Phil Neville said 3 majors, major doubt. He said 3 times for Pozuelo. So that could be a factor, if he plays or doesn't play, or if he plays hurt. He's not at 100%. Let's put it that way. So one of their key players, the playmaker, is not at 100%. I still believe they're riding a really good streak right now. I think that Miami is going to win tomorrow night. It's at home. They've had incredible success at home. It's Gonzalo's big send-off. He has just 2 games left, both at home. I mean, for the regular season. He made his big announcement. I think that the energy is going to be great tomorrow night, and I will predict that InterMiami will win tomorrow night.
Green Lion, by the way, home of Captain Obvious. MLS is better, but it's not Europe, nor is the talent. MLS All-Stars will get spanked, a middling team. I got you, bro. Way to tell us the obvious. Did it make you feel any better, sir, by telling us the obvious that we know the MLS is not the Premiership, sir? We know it's not Serie A, sir. We know it's not the Bundesliga. I got you. It's not the Spanish Primera League. I got you, sir. Do you feel good about yourself now? Huh? Do you feel good? I always love those people that think they're really smart soccer people. Well, hey, I just want to remind you Americans that the MLS is not there. That's fine, sir. The league's 20 years old, 25 or something.
And it's still soccer. And if you love soccer, something years old. Right.
I mean,
If you love soccer, you support soccer, whatever level it's at.
That's right. Go support him or she. Okay? Go support the Miami FC. All right? But thank you, Green Lion. You're incredibly smart, sir. You really know your soccer. Man, you really educated us on that one. Michelle, what are you working on the Miami Herald besides that story so folks can check you out at the Miami Herald?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm doing a column today. Believe it or not, I will not be at the game tomorrow night because it is Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
They unfortunately, a league with a Jewish commissioner, well, they have NBA games on Christmas, triple header. So what can I tell you? Nothing is sacred anymore. All the religious holidays, the Miami Open final has been on Easter Sunday, and the InterMiami game tomorrow is on Yom Kippur. And if Sandy Koufax didn't pitch in a World Series on Yom Kippur, Michelle Kaufman is not going to cover an Inter-Miami game on Yom Kippur. That is sacred to me, but it is going to be a great game. And what am I working on? I'm working on, there will be another story coming. I did a big story on the Orange Bowl in 1972. I don't know if you saw it. We're doing this big Dolphins 50 year of the 72 season anniversary package. So I did a big story with Anthony Chang on the Orange Bowl, what it was like in 1972, which was really fun to go down memory lane. I'm going to do another one of those memory lane type stories that I'm going to start working on that's coming out soon. And the next thing is University of Miami basketball just started practicing last week, and both teams, the men's team and the women's team, have really interesting storylines. The men are coming off an Elite Eight and have 2 new players transfers, and the women's team has the Cavender twins. The Cavender twins have 4 million followers on TikTok. 4 million. They have more followers than any athlete in Miami sports, including all the professionals and the Heat players and the Dolphins. The Cavender twins are known all across the country.
Maybe only David Beckham, right? Maybe only David Beckham's the only person.
They have more than David Beckham. 4 million.
Wow.
On TikTok. Right. David Beckham would have more. Instagram. David Beckham would, but he's not an athlete. But David Beckham has more. But other than that, the Cavender twins are the most famous athletes in this city, probably, and they're going to be playing for the women's basketball team. So that's going to be an interesting story.
And those 2 young ladies have produced $2 million already in revenue in sponsorship.
In NIL.
That is just amazing. All right, follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports and catch her work. It's must read at the Miami Herald. Michelle, enjoy Yom Kippur and go InterMiami.
Yes, we'll see what happens. That'll be fun. We'll talk after the game.
Are you allowed to watch the game?
I will watch the game because it'll be after sundown. Okay. I'm going to be fasting. I'll go to synagogue. I'll repent for all. We do it all in one. We repent for the sins for the entire year. So, we go it's, all on one day, all of our sins for the past year. And then I'll eat, I'll end my fast. And once I end my fast, then I can turn on the TV and watch InterMiami.
I've decided not to go anymore to church because if I have to go into confession, it's been so long, so many decades now, I wouldn't leave that room for hours and hours and hours. And it's just, I need to pack multiple lunches and stuff like that, until Father, give me a minute. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. We'll finish this story. And I'll keep the poor man there for days. So I've sinned so much. I can't go anymore. You know what? The preacher will look like the Madonna scene in a League of Their Own. That's kind of what's going to end up happening with me. The preacher's just going to come out like, what? Who's this person? What is this? That kind of stuff. So I got to stay away. But you, of course, you'll be in there for like 2 seconds because you don't sin.
No, I don't.
Follow
All right.
Twitter.
Take care. Great to talk to you.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
The great Michelle Kaufman. We love her. Always excellent stuff. Bringing it on board, baby. InterMiami tomorrow. Looking forward to it.